YouTube, how you doing? Murph here, bringing you another product review. Today's review is going to be on the Womier K87. This is an 87 key TKL keyboard that retails for right around $85. And this keyboard features an acrylic base plate with double shot ABS keycaps. This keyboard comes with Gatoron switches. You can choose between black, brown, red, blue, and yellow. But what's really great about this keyboard, especially in this price range, is that it is hot swappable. And the PCB supports 5-pin switches. So you've got a wide variety of switch types that you can put on this keyboard. Being a TKL keyboard, you are getting a full suite of alphanumeric keys, as well as the function row up top, and then some dedicated arrow keys down on the bottom right. The model here that I have is the Gatoron red switch. And one cool thing about the Womier keyboards that are made of acrylic is they're one of the cheapest acrylic keyboards that you can buy. And yet the quality of these are really, really solid. There's almost no bend or flex. There is a small bit of creaking, although you've got to understand that this is 3 different layers of acrylic that have been screwed together, which is probably where that creaking noise is coming from. But unless you're really messing with this keyboard, you're not going to notice that at all. It feels pretty solid. Like I said before, the keycaps are double shot ABS with kind of a matte surface to them, so they do feel pretty good. And while they're not PBTs, so you will probably have a little bit more wear on these faster than a PBT keycap, they are double shot ABS, so they should be a little bit more durable than just your typical average ABS keycap. Another thing I really like about this keyboard is there's no branding anywhere on it. So there's no name or logo that you have to deal with. It's a really clean looking keyboard. Now, I reviewed the K86 a couple of months ago, and I really like that keyboard as well for the price point and for what it was. But it was a little sloppy in some areas, particularly with the screws that go through the case that kind of screw those 3 layers of acrylic together. You could really see all of the threading of the screws, and they were just a lot more noticeable than it is in this keyboard. So this one is a little bit better in that aspect. I also like the font on these keys. It's a pretty good font for a gaming keyboard. Clear, simple, legible, and overall the build quality and the aesthetics of this keyboard are pretty good. Now, this keyboard does come with a 1.8 meter long USB-C cable, which I'll plug in a moment. But real quick, I'm just gonna get the sound test out of the way. There is no dampening material like foam or anything like that on the back side of this keyboard. And there's also not room to add any yourself. So the only other thing you can do to really change the sound profile of this keyboard, other than swapping out the switches to begin with, is adding a little bit of lube to the stabilizers or opening up those Gatoron switches and adding a little bit of switch lubrication. So I like to do my sound tests in 2 parts. The first part will be just kind of a normal typing scenario, writing a report, surfing the web, doing some light gaming, things like that. And now for the second part of the sound test, I like to be a little bit more heavy-handed, kind of pound on the keys a little bit harder, just to give you an idea of if you're a little bit more of a heavy-handed gamer or typer, kind of what the worst case scenario is for how loud these keys can be. Most of you won't be tapping that hard on those keys, but that is kind of a worst case scenario for what the Gatoron Reds would sound like in this keyboard. And overall, the sound profile is what you would expect from Gatoron Reds. Now I'm gonna go ahead and plug in this keyboard so that you can really see what the main feature of this keyboard is, which is the really great LEDs that are on this keyboard. Being that this has an acrylic base plate, they built LEDs in to the bottom of the actual keyboard so that you have a row of LEDs all the way around the outside. And since the top portion is a piece of frosted acrylic, you can see through really, really well. This is a well-built keyboard, and it does come with reliable Gatoron switches, and it's great that it's hot swappable so that if you're not a fan of Gatoron switches, you can swap those out. But at the end of the day, there's nothing really special about this keyboard as far as the build quality, the switch types, anything like that. The star of the show here is the great RGB LEDs that are built in here, and it does look very good. Now, a lot of people say there's no software for this keyboard, and I don't know that there is an official software, but I was able, through a little bit of Reddit searching, to find software to control the RGB and macro functions of this keyboard. Now, the only place I was really able to find those were through a few different direct OneDrive links, which makes me think that it's not an official software that you can download, but I'll show you where I got that from. I'll put the link to the software in the description if you're interested in that. Now, if you don't really want to bother with the software, there are a few options on how to change the RGB functions of this keyboard. And really, when you're talking about the LEDs on here, it's easiest to think of this as having two layers of LEDs. The top layer being kind of what you see underneath all of the keys, and the bottom layer being all of these LEDs built into the base. The bottom set of LEDs is a little bit more limited in what you can do with them, but the top set of LEDs has a pretty good variety of LED functions. Now, to change the LED functions on this keyboard, for the bottom set of LEDs, you're going to use function and left control. And then the top row, you're going to use function and then these navigation keys up here to control the LED functions. So function and insert, delete, end, home, page up and page down. That will all control your LED functions. Now, to change the color of the keys themselves, you use function and the right arrow key. And if you've got it on like one of these settings here, to change the speed of what's going on, you're going to use function and then plus or minus. So minus will slow down whatever the LED function that you're on, and plus will speed it up. Now, if you're interested in using that software to change all of this up, I'll show you how to do that now. Now, once you download the software, the link in the description down below, this is what the icon will look like. And then once you open that up, this is the window that you're going to see. And now to change the functions here, you can set up to 3 different profiles. And you've also got a macro section here where you can change the macros if that's something that you're interested in doing. But for now, we'll reset this to default and go into the light mode. And as you can see here, there's several different options. And then within each of those options, you can control the brightness, and you can control the speed, and you can turn off colorful and choose a specific solid color if you would like. And you can also change the direction of the flow. So just to go through these real quick, this is their function called Go with the Stream. Clouds fly. Winding paths. Breathing. Normally on, which is also going to be your best option if you're just trying to do a solid color of some kind. Pass without trace is going to be one of those that react. Ripple graph is another reactive mode. Fast run without trace, another reactive mode. Snow winter jasmine. Digital times. swift action, hurricane, accumulate, microwave ling, surmount, both ways, Fast and the Furious, and coastal. And those are all of the RGB functions that you can do with this keyboard. Overall, it's a solid keyboard for the money. You're getting really great RGB lighting. You're getting a solid acrylic case. You're getting hot swappable switches. It's really easy to change the RGB options on this keyboard, and you also do have a software option as well. And it's pretty affordably priced too. For what you're paying, again, usually around $80, $85, and sometimes you can even find it cheaper than that on sites such as Amazon. You're getting a pretty solid keyboard with great RGB lighting. Really, the main cons of this keyboard are going to be the stabilizers could be a little bit better in here, as you can hear. And the other thing that I forgot to mention was you do have these rubber feet on the back, which are great for keeping it really stable, but it doesn't have any height adjustable feet. So you're gonna have to be okay with that slight angle to it. Overall, that wraps up this review, guys. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and if you guys are interested in finding out when I post new YouTube videos, when I go live on Twitch, when I'm running any new giveaways or anything like that, make sure you join the Discord server. I'll put a link in the description. YouTube, we'll catch you later.